Hello there, my friends. It's time for a dabble of this little game here, Tricky Towers. So what I'm going to do, there's various things you can do on this. You can do local battle, online battle. Single player has various options. You can choose your character and choose the colour of your bricks. There's various trials you can do, like puzzles, things like that. I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to show you the survival mode, my favourite one. So this is the race challenge. So we can see on the board there that someone's somehow got 2,900 feet. I think it's in feet, so it's how high you're going to get. It doesn't really say what it is, but that's what the score's based on, is how high you can get. Now the thing I like about this game is I can play with one hand, so I can do it all on this with my left hand, because I have problems with, as many of you know, I have problems with my wrist. So any game that I can play with one hand is a bonus. So you can see you're playing with the shapes from Tetris. So it's kind of Tetris in a way, but the way they stack together isn't quite the same. So they don't really stick together. Like, so if I put that there, well, that's actually okay. But say, oh, there you go, it's tumbled off. So we're playing with physics in a sense. So the better they tessellate, the better, if you will. And if you start making a shoddy structure, the whole thing will start swaying. So it's about maintaining integrity as you go along, and then you're aiming for these checkpoints to get these various power-ups. So that one there is called, it's a vine. So you enact it, and it helps shore up part of the structure. And in this mode, obviously, you can see that the sea or the water is constantly rising up. If it goes beyond the top of your tower, the damn thing perishes, and that's the end of the level. So I'm just going to do a very quick one here just to show you how it works. You can also do a quick push to the left or right, which you can use for knocking off pieces that don't fall the way you want them to. But I tend to avoid using that because I need my other hand to do that. So yeah, I try to get by without using that. There we are, and each time the water recedes a bit more. Now that power up there I've just got is very useful. In fact, it's the most useful one you can get on here. So if you power it up, lay it down, and it's a really stable block now, and it doesn't bear any relation to the blocks beneath it. So if you've got a tower that's swaying like a madman, you can then use that to add a bit of stability to everything that follows, which is very useful and much needed the higher up you go. So you can do things like that. So it doesn't have to completely tessellate, but as long as you're working with the laws of physics, shall we say, or as they pertain to this game, you'll do okay. There, that's shored it up. So it's also based on left and right of the central axis of the tower. So sometimes you're having to like stack to one side. So you can see it leaning now. So if I put that there, it's going to start listing that way. But then you can start putting blocks on the other side. The other thing you can do, of course, if it's a block you don't really want to use, you can just chuck it in the water and nothing too bad will happen. Okay, there we are. That's the end of that run. The last thing you do is you just put a topper on the top. Completely pointless act, but there we are. It's like putting a roof on the tower. And then it will give you this image of the tower you've created. Absolutely lovely. So what I'm going to do now is try and beat my personal best, which is 914. It's very unlikely I'll beat it now, but anyway, let's give it a go. Come on. Of course, the other advantage of playing with one hand is that you can do something else with the other. Typically, for me, it's vaping, but occasionally I play with a beer as well, so there we are. There are advantages to playing with one hand. I have looked into getting a controller actually that would you can get one-handed controllers for people that are unfortunate enough to only have one hand. I mean, I'm certainly not in that bracket, but to all intents and purposes I'm trying to avoid using my other hand anyway, so it's like I only have one hand, if you will. I mean, I could use it, but chances are I'd pay the price the next day or for the few days afterwards with lots of pain. Now, there will be a way around that one day, and that's an operation to fuse the wrist in place. But I'm trying to avoid that because I don't think I'll be able to paint anymore. So that will be a sad day. Right, the good thing to do here is get that one on the top. Look at that. Nice and firm now. And then overhang it slightly, and then we can build a slightly thicker tower. So it's best to stick to the girth, shall we say, that's imposed at the very beginning by that initial structure. If you go too wide, you end up, the water starts rising. You know, it takes longer to build a tower of that girth. And if you go too narrow, it gives you less possibilities for placing your blocks. So it's a balancing act, really. I've turned the music down because it does my bloody nut in. What I tend to do actually is I have Spotify playing in the background with a nice little playlist of some sort. And yeah, that's quite pleasant, but obviously I can't do that here because I'll run into all manner of copyright problems. Not that I monetize it, but depending on the song, they don't always want you to put it on the on YouTube, unfortunately. Okay, we're doing okay here. Yeah, and this music, I mean, it's pleasant enough, but it does get stuck in your head after a while. And it's not the best thing to have rolling around in your brain when you're trying to go to sleep. Okay, let's get that in there. That will shore that up. Okay, lovely. See, we've got a bit of sway there already, unfortunately. So, as you can imagine, as you get up higher, it starts listing like an absolute bastard. Oh, look at that. That hasn't stuck properly. Oh, man. Right, we're going to have problems here. I'll try and poof that out of the way. No, that didn't work. Ah, hell. Ah, hell. Okay. This isn't good. Oh no. Right, quick. No. Rubbish, 500. Right, what I'll do now probably is I'll just keep playing and I'll find the best score I can and bolt it on to the end of here. So, yeah, let's try. Aha!